before we go deep into the things we have for today? Any person, anyone, any question at all from any end before we go deep? Blessing wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can just kick off, right? If there are questions, the questions can be communicated in the chat box. So probably would attend to all the questions after this, if that's fine by you.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
All right.
Okay, great. Please confirm you can see my shared screen.
Yes, I
Okay.
can.
Yeah, I'm presenting a slide. Okay. 1 minute, please. All right, great. So we are talking about soft skills to thrive as a product manager. First of all, we'll be asking ourselves, who is a product manager? That's the first question that should be in everybody's head and on everyone's mind. Who is a product manager? So I've been able to put something together, and I found out that a whole lot of people have different definitions as to who a product manager should be or is. But from my end, this is who I think a product manager is. A product manager is someone who identifies a problem, understands it, and develops strategies on how to solve them using necessary channels. When I say is someone who understands, who identifies a problem, I really do not mean that a product manager has a sole responsibility of seeing every problem that everybody is facing. However, a product manager is someone that sees the problem in the problem. If you understand that, if a product manager sees a problem in the problem, sometimes most of the things that the business unit or the customers come to you to tell you is their problem is their own solution to a fragment of the problem they are facing. However, as a it is your response then begin to work around the strategies on how to solve them. It is every problem you face or is being brought to you as a product manager must not be solved using a mobile app. It must not be solved using a web app. It must not be solved using a website. Some problems are solved using several channels, and the mobile app that you build is just one of the several channels to use to solve a particular problem. So we'll be looking at how to solve these problems using some skill sets. Now you understand that we have hard skills and we have soft skills, and for the purpose of this call, we're focusing on five soft skills that a product manager should have and which would help them thrive in the profession. One of them is communication, leadership skill, analytical skill, problem solving skill, and time management skill. These are skills that don't buy them in the market, right? And if someone is hiring you, if someone is hiring, please confirm you can still hear me, please. Anyone? Please confirm you can still hear
Yes,
me.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So these are the skills you don't buy in the market. They don't teach you these skills in university. They don't teach you, maybe indirectly, yes, but nobody sits you down to teach you leadership, except when you are having much more higher degree. Nobody sits you down to teach you how to communicate, except you are learning communication as an area of specialty. Nobody teaches you how to be analytical, except you are deep diving into analytics. Nobody teaches you how to solve problems except you're a strategist, right? Nobody teaches you how to manage time scale except probably you are God. So you do not learn these things by sitting down in one place. These are things you learn and pick up on the go, and it is not a walk in the park. It is not, trust me, it's not a walk in the park, because you're dealing with different kinds of people. You're dealing with the stakeholders. You're dealing with your peers. You're dealing with different business units, and for goodness sake, you have to have these soft skills. There are a whole lot more, but I want us to focus on this five for the sake of time. And I know it's a weekend; everyone has one or two things to do. So let's look at the first one: communication skill. And the question would be, who do you communicate with? I get some of these questions a whole lot of times when people say, I'm struggling to communicate. It's a challenge for me as a PM. Communication, it is a big challenge for me because people are different. You have to adopt several styles of communication to be able to communicate effectively to everyone that you come across on a daily basis. On a daily basis, you have to communicate with people. I believe some of us are PMs already, and for lack of a better word, our calendars are a mess, right? Our calendars are a mess. We come out from meetings, just our meetings are interswitched, are intertwined with each other. Our calendars are blocked. 1:30 to 2 p.m., 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. You do not have a breathing space, and it's the profession you have chosen. So you have to communicate, you have to talk to people, not just by speaking, by also writing. There are different forms of communication. By sign language, you have to communicate with people however way they understand better. You have to communicate, you have to say something to people. And who are these people you communicate with? They are internal, some of them are your internal customers. Internal customers comprises of the business unit, comprises of the senior management, comprises of the engineering team. And these internal customers are the bedrock of operations. I am opportune to build platform products that internal teams use to run the day-to-day operations. And I understand how difficult it can be to gather requirements. I understand how difficult it can be to actually pin out what the problem is, because someone will come and say, yeah, I can't use this feature. Our system is down. What does that mean? What does that mean to when they tell me that when business unit calls me and say or sends in a message in the way our application is down, I ask them, what does that mean? Is it that you cannot use a particular feature, or you cannot do this, or you cannot do that? If you don't understand what the problem is, you cannot solve it. So you need to drill down. This is where you begin to ask, if you are gathering requirements. This is where you begin to ask the five whys, and you begin to find out what exactly is the problem that they are facing. And some of them may come to you, I need a feature that does this or that does that. If you try to drill down, you understand it is not actually a feature they need. They actually need to toggle one button. They actually need an email prompt to be reminding them of something, and not just a particular feature. Most times they don't know what they need, so you need to help them communicate it better, help them put it in a better way. And you cannot do this if you do not have the right skill in communication. You need to know how to communicate. You need to know how to digest information to be able to function effectively as a product manager. And you'll be interfacing with the business team, you'll be interfacing with the senior management. For the senior management, is a different ballgame, right? Because you're talking to people that employed you, you're talking to the stakeholders of the business, and you need to put yourself together. I don't know how to express it, because one mistake you make in those meetings could mar your entire career in that organization. So you need to put yourself together. I'm not saying this to scare anyone, but Your senior management are the people that should validate your work, are the people that should sign up on a whole lot of things. And if you don't understand what you are doing as a product manager, then there is a problem. So you need to always carry them along. You need to communicate with them. You need to know the best style of communication that works with them. Some of them are work more with visual. Some of them work more with with emails. Some of them work more with constantly reminding them about something. So you need to learn the kind of persons they are and understand how best to communicate with them. And also, the reverse is the case. Also, know how to receive a good information from them, because they say a whole lot of things in a bit to convey their mind. And they're not responsible for what they say. You are responsible for what you hear, and also responsible for what you put out as an outcome of a particular project or particular product you're working on. It is your responsibility. It's not in their cover to do that. So because they are up there, you need to ask them questions on so as to get the vision right, so as to get their heartbeat right. Okay, you've said this to me. Um, um, how can we achieve this? You now begin to drill down into questions. What problem did you face when you are trying to think about this? What was your mood? What kind of mood were you in? What are you trying to actually pinpoint? Right. So there are meetings you are not in, they are in board meetings you are not particularly in. So when they come out of those board meetings, some things are lost in transit in communication. So you need to drill down to understand exactly what they are saying. And like I said earlier on, one form of miscommunication can cause a whole lot of havoc, create an impression that is not good for you as a product manager. So you need to really, really understand what is going on, business wise and senior management wise. The engineering team is one place you need to be very particular about. Engineers, I'm looking for the right word. Engineers do not read documentations the way you and I will read them. This is not to say engineers do not read. They do not read it the way you and I will read them. You and I will pay more attention to some certain things, except engineering managers and VP of engineering. But when it gets to technical writers, no, they don't read. They don't read those things the way you want us, the way you want them to read them and understand. So you see documents like PRD, FRD, test cases, business cases. It is for you and I. It is for the business. Trust me, engineers will not bother about that. What they bother about is those Jira tickets that you put up on the board. And if those tickets do not carry exactly what the user needs are, or if they do not interpret it the way it is supposed to be interpreted, then there is a problem. They'll be building something different while you are working on something different. And that is a big, massive challenge. It is massive. When you begin to write documents that are not conveying the actual problem the customers are facing, it is a massive risk. And when they begin to build, you will not have wasted resources, you will not have wasted efforts, you will also have wasted time, and you also have wasted people's intellect, because people are being paid for this. And if you are wasting their time and resources, the business will not take it lightly with you. And if they do not take it lightly with you, your job is at the verge of crashing. Your career is at the verge of crashing. So communication skill with engineers are very important. They are super important. It is something that you should take as serious as your job, right? Because if they begin to build things that are not necessary for the business, solving business needs, then there is a problem, which you and I know that there will be no end to it. I don't know if there are questions so far. you can ask your questions as we progress, so it doesn't pile up at the end of the day. Okay. Blessing, if you don't mind, please help me read out the questions if there are questions.
All right. Let me just check. Okay, from what I see here, it's just like one question, and it's
Okay.
from Akel. She's asking, apart from the soft skill, can you kindly tell us how you also started your journey as a product manager, and that moment you know, yes, I am doing it right now. I can now push myself out there. So it looks like this person is maybe having this imposter syndrome kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'll speak on that now, Akinola. I'll speak on that now. My product management journey is not the conventional one. I started off as a tutor success manager in an edtech firm, and we had a need for a product manager because I was leading the team that was responsible for the tutors that were coming on the platform to register and teach, um, 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 and connect with parents that have a need for their children to be taught. I was in charge of that unit, and it wasn't I was in charge of building the experience, basically, experience end to end, ensuring that they are sorted out, they are moving from one stage to the other during their onboarding processes and all that. I was responsible for that. So I began to find more problems as we progressed, and the company as I then hired a product manager. So I was willing to work close with her, and we began to build our product. So at some point, I now began to manage the product that concerns the tutors. So I now began to build a digital library for them. I also began to build their onboarding process and what it looked like. So I didn't start off as a product manager immediately. I had a feel of what it is to build an experience for people, and from that experience I now began to build on the career, and I moved on up the ladder. Do I have imposter syndromes? Yes, I still do. As a senior product manager, I still have imposter syndromes because there are some things that my executives would want expect you to know at some certain level of your career, and you wouldn't have known them. It's okay not to know everything, and it's also okay to ask questions. It's also okay to go and research. It's also okay to go back and go back to your mentor, go back to your group, and ask them questions about something that is bothering you, especially when it has to do with documentation, it has to do with strategy, it has to do with growth, it has to do with business processes, optimizing things. It is okay to feel that you're not doing enough and you're overworking yourself. I feel that way every day, every time, every moment. I feel overwhelmed, but it is also something that you should learn how to properly put yourself together to face, because you are not going away from it. Instead, you face more, and if care is not taken, you will now begin to become somebody that hold people accountable, and ensure that they are carrying out their duties, because at the end of the day to affect you and affect your team. So you will now become that leader that also holds people accountable for a job not well done. So yes, I still have imposter syndrome. Will I still have it tomorrow? Yes, I still have imposter syndrome tomorrow. And is it a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. Would you outgrow it? Maybe sometime. When I become CEO, I know some CEOs have imposter syndromes because we really do not know it all. We are still trying to put ourselves together and move forward and crack every surface that we encounter, and make impact into people's lives. All right. I hope I answered your question, Akinola. The other person is asking, when you say engineers, do you mean software developers and engineers? Yes, I mean software engineers. I mean people that actually write the code. You need to know how to communicate effectively with them, because they are the bedrock of, or they help you to support you to get your job done. And if you must get your all your facts right, everything that you need to do. You must get it right and build a successful product. You have to communicate well with them, and that is non-negotiable. Please do not negotiate with that. That's non-negotiable. Okay, the next question is, what is the full meaning of the acronyms MRD, QRD during your point on documentation? Okay, so documentation is vast, right? This MRD, FRD, PRD, QRD, you see a whole lot of RDs and all whatnot, right? Documentation is a different conversation altogether. And if we begin to talk about documentations today, we may not go home, right? Documentation is a different session. Blessing, maybe some other time we'll have to organize a session to talk about documentation. It
Oh,
is large, it is broad. It is not something we can finish in one sitting. So permit me to skip this question. Please, please. I'm sorry, I'm going to skip this question. Permit me to skip it because it is a broad topic that we'll have to schedule another meeting to talk about. I hope you forgive me for this, please.
totally fine. It's totally fine. Just move on to
Uh,
the next.
exactly. Okay, this one says, and after ticketing, is that with the use of Basecamp or Trello board for developers? Okay, I use Jira. I don't use Trello. So I don't Trello is more of a project management tool and not a product management tool. So I use Jira and not Jira Confluence and not Trello. All right. Hi Indukwe, if I have the platform that can give me the opportunity to learn product management hands-on, would you still suggest I take certification course? For Nigerian market, yes, take certification courses. Product management certification courses, yes, but I'll advise you to do more of data certification courses. After you've done product certification courses, go into data courses, so you'll be more grounded into data and analytics, because it will help you as a product manager. The last one before I go back to our communication skill is, what does it mean to be a technical product manager, and is it necessary to be one or advantageous in regards to having better communication with the engineering team? A technical product manager interfaces more with engineers. Yes, I agree. Unlike the growth product manager, if you are the everyday product manager, you will also have to interface with the engineering team, which is very important for you and your career and your product, the product you're building. However, is it advantageous? I'm not sure it is, because if you work only with the engineering team, the day you decide to work with the business unit, there will be a problem because the style of communication will not be the same. I usually would say something. For me as a product manager, I have built social capital with my business units. Social capital and social infrastructure, that is what I call it. The reason is because there are some things that you will get by just gisting with people, and not when you are solely working with them. Gisting in the sense, if I am working with Blessing, as if Blessing is working with the finance team, and I am working within the product team, and I begin to talk with Blessing, and Blessing says, and the way there's this problem that I'm facing when I want to do this, and do that. How do you think we can go about it and do this and do that? When I begin to ask questions, ask Blessing questions on what she intends to achieve, Blessing will open up to me and talk to me as though I am her friend and her colleague. Unlike when I just walk into Blessing's office, Blessing says, I have a problem, come and solve it for me. And I walk into Blessing's office. Okay, what is your problem? Blessing tells me her problem with her, so the kind of solution she wants. And I begin to build Blessing solution, not minding if the solution will profit the company, or the solution is in the interest of the business, or the solution is just for Blessing, and not think of how it will affect other business units. So these are the kind of things that you should build. I'm not saying you should be friends with everybody in your company, because it's going to cause a whole lot of havoc. But build social capital, social infrastructure. is essential as a product manager within the business unit, within your stakeholders, and also within your external customers. Build social capital. It is very, very important. Okay, I think we should continue before I go back to the question part. Um, the next, okay, so also let's look at the external customers. The external customers are those ones that are paying and those that are not non-paying. They could also be your partners, the people that you're partnering with. You're integrating their services. You also need to communicate with them. So you also need to build a form of rapport around them. So how do you get this communication skill on Flip? How do you ensure that you're communicating adequately? Build a rapport. I said this before. Build a rapport with your customers, internal and external. Build a rapport. Earn their trust. It is very essential to note that when they tell you this is what I'm facing, they are actually facing it, and they will trust you to understand that problem. And if your business unit, if your customers begin to lose trust that you can solve their problem, then you should pack your bag and go home. Because the moment trust is lost within the product space, there is usually communication gaps. There's usually side talks, and there's usually there will be a form of aggression being built from within. And when that aggression begins to build, people begin to drop by the road, by the side, and if they begin to drop, revenue is dropping, interest is dropping. You begin to lose some money, especially if they are paying customers. So they need to earn your trust to know that when this happens, you're going to talk to them effectively and drive the conversation up until the point that they feel satisfied again. Another thing, another of the hows to get your communication skill on fleek is you have to be kind. Kindness is a virtue. It's not something you have to be intentional about it. You have to be intentional about being kind. And in a bid to be kind, you begin to work towards ensuring that people are okay. You begin to build products that people will use. You begin to think about people when you are working on projects that you know will make impact into their life. That also cuts into being empathic. Being empathic is non-negotiable for product managers. As part of the skills you have to, part of your communication skill is empathy. When sending that email, be empathic. When you are putting that document together, if there are visuals that need to be there, please add the visuals. If there are things that would aid the person to understand, be empathic. Do everything within your reach to help the other person out, right? And as a product manager, you should always have people at the back of your mind when you're making decisions. How would it profit my organization? How would it profit this person? How would it profit this unit? How would it profit this person? What impact am I making towards this? Communication is very key. When you're doing your OKRs, your roadmap, you're writing your Jira tickets, when you are writing your PRDs, your FRDs, your MRDs, every documentation, your user flows, your name it, all those documentations that you need to do, you have to be empathic. The people you are writing it for need to understand. If they complain, that's fine. Get your feedback, go back to your drawing board, get your things right, get it straightened out. You do not have any room to complain, right? Someone asked me the other day, the product should a product manager complain? And I said, yes, complain to your mirror. Go to your mirror and complain. Go to your mirror and rant. Go to your mentor and rant. Go to your product group and rant. Go to the people that are your persons and rant. Do not go to your customers and rant. Do not go to your stakeholders and rant. Does that mean you shouldn't tell them, give them feedback? Oh, give them feedback, constructive feedback. But when you want to rant, go back to your room, face that mirror, rant to that person you see in the mirror. Talk to that person you see in the mirror. Do you want to shed your tears? Beautiful. Shed your tears. Have I ever cried as a product manager? Yes, I have. I've cried as a product manager several times. What made me cry? My products, my stakeholders, my business units, my goals. When I don't meet them, I cry. And it is okay to cry, right? Don't man it up, using some energy up, right? For your mental health, for the sake of your mental health, product managers need to let loose of their emotions. So learn how to be empathic while letting loose of their emotions. Know who to go to talk about the things that matter most to you, because it is when you're in the right frame of mind that you can work effectively, think effectively, and carry out your duties effectively. I don't know if there are questions on that before we get to the second part, which is leadership skills. I hope I am giving you exactly what you want to hear in this session. Please, I would like to hear all the comment. I want to get feedback. I want to get feedback. Are you getting value for the time? I can see people shouting, ah, or
Yes.
more. All right, someone's hand is up. Okay, Temi Tokwe, right? Temi Tokwe's hand is up.
Yes,
Temi
yes. I wasn't sure if it was going to come after the session, but since you asked, so on the area of empathy, the way I've had empathy so many times from so many PMs. So my issue is sometimes when this empathy thing, how do you balance it with when you are trying to be, yes, this be empathic, but you don't want to get too soft, and then they take you for granted. So at what point do you show that empathy, and then and you can also still stand firm and they won't take you for granted?
Okay, empathy does not mean weakness. Empathy does not mean being lackadaisical about your job. Empathy does not mean you wouldn't stand up for what you believe in and what you know. Empathy does not mean you are not the right person for the job. And sorry, I would want to correct one impression. When they tell you you are the CEO of your product, please close your ears. You are not the CEO of anything. You are a product manager. You are not a CEO. You don't make some there are some decisions you don't make on your own. You have to yes, Jane, I'm very serious. When they tell you you are the CEO of this product, please close your ears. Do not let it enter your head. I am begging in the name of God. For the love of your career, do not let that get to your head. You're no CEO of anything. You are a product manager. You have you have you have a whole lot of people that you answer to. We'll get to that. Like in the leadership part, this is a good start for the leadership. For the leadership part, the question I asked here is, who are you leading? And the response is nobody. Right? Okay, so let me go back to Temitope's question before I get to leadership. Sorry, I'm digressing. Temitope, be empathic, right? And in your empathy, stand firm in. That's why I talked about building social capital. When you build social capital, you try to know people better. There is nobody within my company right now that I can't walk up to talk to, especially if you're in the business unit, you are leading a particular business unit. There is no time I cannot talk to you. I know every business unit lead within my organization. If I call them on Saturdays, they will pick up my calls, right? Not because I'm going to bring work to them, but because we have a rapport, because we are somewhat of friends. So I call everybody I work with, I call them my best friend. And one of my colleagues walked up to me one day and said, why am I not your best friend? I said, because I'm not serving them. The people I'm serving are my best friends, because I know I tend to understand them better. They tend to understand me better, and I know how to communicate with them. So I don't use the same communication style for everybody. That does not mean I'm weak. That means I'm being strategic in my communication. That also means that I understand my people well. I know how to approach them, and how to go about solving their needs. It's not every time I send everybody emails. I use my WhatsApp. I communicate with them. What do you think about this? The designs are ready. Can we run it? Can we run it together? Can we look at it together? Some people will request you to send them emails and not come to their WhatsApp. That is totally fine. Know how they want to be communicated with. But majority of the people I service We talk on a WhatsApp first, agree on something, then I send out an email and say, as discussed, this is it. So you don't come tomorrow and say there is no formal documentation towards that. So there is a formal documentation. So you, while being empathic, you still stand firm. It's possible to meet up. But I hope I answered your question. All right. So
Yes.
okay, great. For the second skill is leadership. I said this earlier on. You are CEO of nothing. You are not CEO of anything. You are not CEO of any product. I I stand to be corrected anytime, any day. But this is my ideology. This is my philosophy. You can decide to drop it here and move forward. But I'll tell you for free, you are CEO of nothing. Well, even when you're a product owner, you do not call the majority of the shots. Majority of the shots has to come from a sign off. CEOs do not need sign offs. So you are not CEO. You are just in charge of the product and the life cycle of the product. Who informs what goes next? Stakeholders, customers, internal and external, and then data. Data informs what goes next. So you are not CEO of anything. Do not be deceived. Do not let your head go anywhere. And you are leading nobody. Nobody is under you. Nobody is responsible to answer to you. You are leading nobody. The moment you realize this, the more you collaborate. The moment you realize that you are not you are not expecting anybody to send you daily reports from business unit. The moment you learn that, that is the moment you begin to learn how to collaborate and influence people. It is very important as a product manager that you know how to influence people, you know how to collaborate with people, and you know how to motivate people. That is the how you lead people for your leadership skill. Have I had my flaws? 1,001 times. Have I imposed myself on people at some point? Oh yes, I have. Have I retraced my step at those points? Yes, I have. Have I learned from those lessons? Yes, I have. Don't also let how do I put it? It sounds so cliche when I say don't let social media deceive you or LinkedIn deceive you. People have their pitfalls, and I have had my share of the pitfalls, and I'm still having those shares of pitfalls, because if I'm expected to do something I've not done before tomorrow, I'd have to learn how to do it. And if I don't succeed, I would have failed at that point. But the what matters is how you get up when you fail. What's your response towards failure? Those are the very important things. So it takes us back to the how. How do you lead people? You lead people by influence. When you influence people's decision, you get to find out that you are the person leading them, right? Without their knowledge, without them knowing that you are actually the one leading them. Tomorrow, when something needs to be done within the space, within the business unit, and the request for someone to lead them, you find out tomorrow that they'll be calling you. Oh, Blessing, come and lead us. Oh, Rosalind, come and lead us. Oh, Stewart, come and lead us. Come and organize this. Come and spearhead this thing. It's not because you sat in a class for one leadership skill training, but it is because you have learned how to lead people by influence. You have learned how to lead people by collaboration. You have learned how to lead people by motivating them. These are skills you do not learn in school. You learn them on the job. You learn them by training yourself. You learn them by being conscious of where you are. You also learn them by the kind of companies you have been into. If you are in a place that do not allow you to work with people, allow you to collaborate, if you are in a toxic place, as it were, you will not find your feet. You will not be able to influence people. You will not be able to work with people hand in hand. You will not be able to share your thoughts, and that will be a form of setback for you. So you also need to understand the environment where you find yourself in, because that would go a long way to influence whatever it is that concerns you. Okay. I don't know if there are questions on leadership before we go into the next one. Are there questions? Okay, I think I'll take some of the questions that came in last. It says, "Hi, Ndukwe. Do you have any advice for how to decide the industry to go into, say, healthcare, fintech, etc., since the PM trainings are usually generic?" Yes. Okay, to shock you to note that I've worked on few fintech products. That does not mean I don't have fintech experience. I have fintech experience for certain products when I was in consulting. I've worked on a couple of products for several banks, some of the big fours. I've worked with them, and I've also worked on platform products. Platform products are more or less systematic. They are the products where you have to think of process flows. They are the products where you have to think of SOPs. They are the products where you have to work closely with business units, work as a business analyst. You have to work as a product manager. You have to wear different hats to ensure that you are building a sustainable product. You also have to wear the hat of partnering with people and how to integrate some other products into your product. So I wouldn't say go into this industry, do not go into this industry. What I would say is learn. Product management is the same everywhere. That is the irony of it. Product management in fintech is the same in healthcare, is the same in edtech, is the same in platform, is the same in whatever you go into, whatever industry you go into. It is the same process. The thing that only changes is the strategy. Strategy is something that you also have to learn by association. Strategy is something you have to learn by experience. Strategy is something you have to learn empirically. It is not something that comes as a result of being in one location, in one industry. I've worked within the e-commerce industry. I've worked within the fintech industry. I've worked within the asset management industry. I've worked within the edtech industry, and I've also worked within the healthcare industry. Yes, so it is, and I've also worked in the agri tech industry. So it is very vast, right? And it is the same. What changes? It's the strategy. Strategy does not remain the same. Strategy may cut across, but they are usually not the same because industries are dynamic, and because they are dynamic, you have to also be dynamic. Product managers are very dynamic. They're the most dynamic people I've set my eyes on. So I hope that answers your question, Tijani. Okay, Blessing says, Chimare's question downward. Your question will be the first after the conversation is done. Okay, I get that, Blessing. All right. The last one I'll take before I go into the next skill is, what approach can one adopt to easily discover the communication styles by senior managers, especially if you transited coming in from a different organization? I had this problem when I initially, whenever I switch job, I usually will have this challenge because you need to learn people. You need to understand people. You need to know how to work with people, especially the senior management. They are the big wigs, and because they are the big wigs, you need to learn how to talk to them. I have one of the co-founders in where I work today is someone I can walk into his office and talk to him like I'm talking to an elder brother. He's older than I am. Talk to him as though I'm talking to an elder brother and tell him this is working, this wouldn't work, give him reasons why this wouldn't work, and hear his own thoughts. And we bounce off ideas. Would I do that with every of the stakeholder? No. Every of the senior managers? No, I will not do that. The reason is because people are different. People perceive you differently. People have different impressions of you, and because you need to understand the people that work with you better, or people that are responsible for your actions, you need to learn how to follow through with them. And for you to discover how to do that, observe them, right? Observe their communication style. Ask them questions. Would you prefer I send you a reminder? Would you prefer I send you an email? Would you prefer I send you a text message? would you prefer we hang out? If you want to hang out with them, would you prefer we meet up at so and so place? So find out what works for them. Ask questions. You don't because you are new, you will need to understand how they think, what's behind the logic for the decisions they make. Those things are very important for you, especially if you're coming in, you are moving from one organization to another. All right, I hope I answered your question, Joseph. B, your hand is up. Please go ahead with your question before we go to the next.
All right, my question goes in terms of company culture. Yes, I mean, very soon I'll be a certified PM. So what can you say? What can you say about it for a new PM that's about to enter into, or let me say, into the profession? And do we have to check the company culture before we enter? Because I realize that there are some company culture that don't really match up with what we do, and sometimes based on our work, it might be overwhelming to enter it, and it might need to be cast out when we enter. So what would you advise us to do in that kind of situation?
Okay, company culture is important. Company culture is super, super important. Okay, Mary Chibuzo. Okay, I'm not sure I saw your question, but let me answer. Let me speak with you. Company culture is very important, and for you as a product manager that will be dealing with different business units, you will ensure that the culture of the company is something that suits you. I know there is high rate of unemployment, but there's also high rate of mad people in the road. Please do not add to the number, because product management will drive you nuts. If you find yourself in a place that do not fit into your values and into what you stand for, you will, I repeat, you will find it very difficult to move forward. So please, please, and please ensure that the culture of the company where you are going into fits into your own personal culture, and that is what you intend to achieve as part of your career projection. If there is company culture, there is product culture. Different companies have different cultures within their product, right? Some people's culture is firefighting. Some people's culture is taking their time to build. Some people's culture is a different style of documentation. Some people's culture is a different form of communication and data gathering and requirement gathering. Find what is suitable within that company, adapt it. There is no harm in learning. Adapt it. If it works for you, stay put, learn, and move on. If it doesn't work for you, please do not compromise your mental health. Product managers are a lot more valuable. They are worth much more than what we go through. But go ahead, find your feet, and it is very important that you know what you're doing. Find confidence in yourself first before you make any decision that you want to make. If you're able to withstand whatever pressure that comes your way, kudos, go ahead. If you're not able to do that, please take some steps back, find yourself, and move on forward. There is no, it is a race. You are the only person in a competition with is yourself, and not with any other person. Do I do all these things I'm saying? Not 100%. But do I know them? Yes, I do. It is a gradual step to get into where I want to be. So I would also encourage you, ensure that you have the mental capacity to carry whatever it is thrown at you. If not, please take some steps back and find yourself, then you move forward. B, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
All right. Chimeri, your question is, what advice do you have for someone starting out who has learned basic skills as a product manager? How do one penetrate into the job market? Okay, this is a whole lot of conversation on its own entirely. Please permit me, Chimeri, to answer your question while we are wrapping up, so I am able to conclude on why we are here. I hope you understand. Thank you so much. The next skill you need to have as a product manager is an analytical skill, right? So you need to, in analytics, as a product manager, I don't mean going deep into data analytics. Do you need that skill at the data analytics skill? Oh, yes, you do. But that is not the only analytical skill you need in as a product manager. One of the skill you need is understanding data, knowing what to do with data, right? Not monitoring patterns, monitoring trends. At this point in time, at this time of the year, we usually will have high demand. So if you understand that, you need to ensure your system, your technology is ready to manage whatever pressure that is coming in. So you need to know how to monitor patterns. It is a very soft skill people it's a soft skill people overlook a lot. Would you also call it a hard skill? Yes, it sits in between, because if you will need to understand how to monitor data before you understand analytics. But on your own, with your as a product manager, you will need to understand how data works. It is not, it is a very, it should be at the tip of your hands. Understanding how data works, understanding where the data points are coming in from. You will need to understand patterns, draw patterns, monitor trends, ensure that these things are things that would enhance your product, will make your product grow. So you need to monitor those patterns. Ensure you monitor those patterns. Ensure you monitor those trends. When do I have high demands? When do I have low demands? Why do I have those high demands at those points? Why do I have these low demands at this point? What metrics am I looking out for? These things should be at the tip of your hands. That's why I classify them as part of the soft skills. Now the question is, how do you apply this soft skill? It is by using tools, by research, understanding what is happening within your industry, by also observing. What are you observing? You're observing trends, you're observing patterns, you're observing people, you're observing good. This is another area where I would have to tell you the simple truth. Part of the analytical skills is analyzing people. It is a very difficult, there is no way for measuring that. There is no way to measure the people you are analyzing, you are closely observing. You need to observe your users, you need to observe your customers, you need to observe your stakeholders, you need to observe your engineers. I have bought food for the entire engineering team before. Why did I buy food? Is it because I have plenty of money? I don't even have money. Why did I buy food for every engineer? It's because I want them to do my job. The job they are paid for, that I am responsible for and accountable for. I am buying them food to get it done for me, and within a certain period of time, because it is choking the business at that point in time. Did my stakeholders need to know? Oh, they don't need to know. Do the other PMs need to know? Yeah, they needed to know, because we were up all night trying to get those things sorted out. The engineers were up all night. So while they were up all night working with me, in the morning I had to call a vendor, ask them for their addresses, and I sent all of them food. About 10 to 15 of them, I sent all of them food to the different houses. The people that are not within Lagos, I had to transfer the money to them. Did I do that because I have plenty money? No, I am building social capital. It is important to note all these things. You may not buy them food, you may not buy them drink, you may not buy them anything, but you may also be a helping hand at some point or the other and make their work easier. You need to understand that these are human beings, and you need to analyze people, know what their pain points are, so they will help you drive to your desired outcome. It is super important to know that your people, that you understand your people, you understand the data, you understand the pattern, you understand the trend, company pattern. Is there a point in time in the company that something happens? Prepare ahead of it, so that when it happens, you have a landing ground, and you have a way to resolve and sort it out. So ensure that all these skills, all these analytical skills are at your beck and call. When someone tells you something is going on somewhere, put two and two together. You have to be very smart. Product managers are smart people. You have to be very smart to put two and two together to know what exactly is going on and how you're going to handle it. Would it affect you directly? Would it affect your product directly? Would it affect the business? What is the showstopper at that point in time? Put them together, analyze them, and make a decision. So you need to be a critical thinker, a critical analyzer at every point in time, so you move forward. I don't know if you have questions at this point before we move to the next. Before we move to the next before we move to the next point, someone says, "We know you have money. I don't have money. Please come and hire me." All right. Any questions? Any questions before we move to the next part, the next slide?
I think I think we should just move to the parts. Let's just move on. Then maybe after, I think we're in number 3 now. We're going to number 4. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So after number 5, then we can just take all the questions at once. What do you
All right.
think?
All right. That works. That works. Great.
Okay.
All right. So the next point, the next skill you should have is a problem-solving skill. Whose problem are you solving? You're solving business problems. You're solving internal customer problems. You're solving external customer problem. You are solving passers-by problem. You're solving HR problem. You're solving gateman's problem. You're a problem solver. It is non-negotiable. Please listen and listen well. People will call you into things that does not concern you. You are a problem solver, and because you're a problem solver, you have no right, absolutely no right to grumble. If you have a way of escaping those conversations, wonderful. I appreciate your analytical skill to understand when to call a shot and when not to call a shot. Kudos. But if you don't understand, you are still in that deep mess with all of us. You will be in the trenches with all of us. We'll swim in the trenches together. We'll find the solution to these problems, and then we'll move forward and we'll progress. Trust me and trust me, trust me, trust me. Every time, every day, you encounter problems, and you must prefer solutions to those problems. It is very fundamental that every problem you encounter as a product manager, whether it's a business problem, you have to find a way to solve it. If it is an internal customer problem, you have to find a way to solve it. I'll give an instance. There are times when business units wouldn't understand a process because it has a lot to do with onboarding of our users, our customers. When they do not understand the process, I get emails. Ndukwe, we're having a challenge understanding, moving on from this particular area, right? Because this is affecting two business units, and if they don't understand the process of how it flows from one business unit to another business unit, they'll have to reach out to product. Product is a process optimizer. That is also what I do at Max. We work on the processes that would help us drive business operations. And if business operations are not moving as they should move, you are being held responsible. You as a product person, you'll be held responsible for not driving the conversation as you should drive them, for not driving the process as you should drive them. So you should, at every point in time, proffer solutions that would help you, that will help the business move forward. So that is how you're solving business problems. It is important that as a product manager, you understand the processes and how the business move forward. So that would also inform the way you build your product. Processes, especially when you're building platform products. You're building platform products, the processes are embedded in the platform, in the product itself. So you have to understand them end to end, and that would also help you drive whatever it is whatever outcome you want to get. Your internal customers, you have to know how to solve problems for them, whether it is product related or process related. You have to work with them to optimize whatever process it is, so that your business and your product would move forward, especially in a product-led company. External customers, you also have to learn how to solve problems for them. If your external customers are the people that I call them the paying and the non-paying customers. If at any point in time they're having issues navigating through something, you have to solve that problem for them. You have to come up with a makeshift for them at that point in time. So you should be a problem solver in that case. The how would you be solving this problem? By listening, by understanding the problem, by empathizing, by mapping strategies. You need to understand how to listen. It is not every time you need to respond. Learn how to listen. Listening is also a skill for problem solving. Listen to understand and not listen to attack or be defensive. Listen to understand. I am facing this problem. Okay, why are you facing this problem? I'm trying to do I'm facing this problem because this is happening. Okay, what do you intend to achieve when you're facing this problem? I intend to achieve this, intend to achieve this. Today, how are you doing it to achieve this? They begin to talk to you how they do it, how they are not doing it right. Do not also let them proffer solutions to you or get into your head with solutions. Just let them tell you what the problem is first, so you can build on that and begin to proffer solution. Understand whatever it is before you begin to solve problems. I'll tell you something. Whenever a problem is being brought to you and you proffer solution immediately, trust me, you are providing the wrong solution. I wouldn't want to say all problems are the same because problems are dynamic. You don't face the same problem all the time, except it is the same problem you're trying to solve and it keeps occurring. That means you have not solved it right. So understand the problem well before you give solutions. You are not obligated to give a solution at that point in time. If you give a solution the first time at that point in time and it fails, you are held accountable. If you give another solution at that point in time at the heat of the moment and it fails, you're also held accountable. So why not get the problem first, sit down, brainstorm on the problem, and then come up with a solution that works. If you do not work that way, please, I beg you, I urge you, my brethren, if you're a Christian, I urge you, I don't know how Muslims urge themselves, but I urge you to understand the problem well. If you don't understand it as you should, there is a problem. That is another problem on itself. So understand the problem well before you are able to move forward. Have I understood all the problems? No, I have not. No, I've not understood all the problems. And do I know how to solve all the problems that I face within my space today? No, I don't know how to solve them. I don't even understand them, let alone solving them. I require some senior management who has been in the business for a longer period than I have been to step in and help me understand the problem. Right? It is not you do not work as being proud. That's not how you function as a product manager. And if in the process of failure rates, because if we share failure rates, you may not believe enough. For me, I constantly share my failure rates so that it helps other people build on their own career. It is super important that you fail and you stand. You understand why you failed and understand the mistakes you've made and then move forward. Do not dwell on your failures. That is another part of it. If you fail to understand, do not dwell on it. Pick up yourself, dust it up, and then move on to the next thing. It is important that you understand that you are human and you are bound to fail. You are bound not to understand everything. And the things you don't understand, call for help. And if there are people that will help you, good for you. Go ahead and leverage on that help and that relationship and solve your problem. And another way to solve problem is by empathizing with them. When you empathize with them and you function in their shoes, you will know how it is pinching them. Those pain points, you'll be able to unblock it for them, and you people will make progress. How else do you solve problem? By mapping out strategies. Well, after you've understood the problem, you've brainstormed, you now map out the strategies. Some of the problems are not solved immediately, they are solved systematically. Some of the problems are not solved immediately, they are solved in fragments, in phases. So know how to solve these problems. It is not enough that you identify the problem, you understand the problem. When you're mapping out the strategy, that is also the how. you need to put them in phases. If it's a lot of solution, put it in phases. So version them, right? Prioritize the one that is of more utmost importance, and then begin to solve it from there. Okay. I think that is all on. That is all on. Okay, someone is asking a very interesting question, Kelvin. Kelvin says, "Can you, Olabanji? I'll get to your question, which is understanding the difference between problem perspective and solution perspective." Yeah, Olabanji, is this a question or a comment? Olabanji, are you here?
I think that should be a comment.
Yeah, I guess it's a comment. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, just a contribution. Great. Kelvin says, "Can you give us a real life scenario when you failed and how you were able to recover and provide a solution that resulted to the success of the product?" Okay, so I'll give a real life scenario of how I failed and got myself up again. Have I even got myself up? I'm not sure. So one of the business units which is in charge of sorting out compliance. I worked on a product for them that helps them sort out compliance, and there are some aspects of the product I didn't consider while sorting out that compliance issue. Because it is a loop, an unending loop in compliance, it's an unending loop. You have to constantly iterate on the technology that they are working with. And when I worked on that technology, it was they didn't have that issue at that point in time. I didn't foresee that issue. It's not like they didn't have the issue. They had the issue, but I didn't foresee the issue, and I didn't ask a lot of questions while I was gathering the requirements for that particular part. And I launched the product. They began to use the product and began to have that issue. And then I didn't go back to them to ask them to get feedback on the product. How are you solving this? Are we moving? Are we making progress on this? What are the challenges you are facing? Begin to gather fresh requirements for that particular product so that we can move forward. Because I wasn't able to do that efficiently, we hit a roadblock when we had a lot of people with compliance issues. A whole lot of people at some particular point in time had a lot of compliance issue, and we needed to sort it out. And at that point, that that was the point I knew I had messed up. And at that point, I now began to rethink of the processes. Did I get it right when I was rethinking? No, I didn't. I failed again. And what I had to do was to reach out to one of the co-founders and said, "Okay, so I'm trying to solve this. I'm trying to solve this problem, and these are the roadblocks I encountered. This is what I did. This is what I did." He said, "Okay, why not try it this other way?" And when he gave me insights into that, I'm like, "Oh, great. Well, I never thought of it this way." And I went back, and with the team, we had to re-engineer some things and began to work towards began to work towards the approach, and we began to see successes for that particular product within the compliance. We now saw that a whole lot of people didn't have that compliance issue anymore. We now began to see a whole lot of people moving from one pipeline funnel to another pipeline funnel, and it was so amazing because all the backlogs we had at that point in time were cleared up, and it didn't take us the number of resources we had at that point in time to solve this problem. So it was very, very, very important. Those were the moments where I failed as a product manager, and I tried to put myself together, get a problem solved, and also move forward. So yes, I failed in that. There are other real life scenarios where I failed. Did I come out of them? Yes, some of them I came out, some of them I did come out. Some of them I had to reach out for help, and I was sorted out by people that are more experienced than I am. Please do not feel ashamed. Do not be ashamed to walk up to people and ask for help, especially people that will help you, genuinely help you. Some people, have I fallen into the pit of people making fun of me while they're helping me? Yes, I have. But my concern is, what is the goal? What do I intend to achieve at the end of the day? Once I know what I intend to achieve, I do not care. I care less of how I'm being perceived amongst a particular set of people. Did it affect me at that point in time? Oh yes, it did affect me. However, did I needed to get out of it to make progress. Did I at some point blow hot? Yes, I at some point blew hot, and at other times I blew cold. So you need to understand the time and the season, who you talk to, who you do not talk to, how you talk to them, how you also move up to talk to your senior managers, and how you also engage the junior managers, because you really do not know where your solution is going to come from, if it is coming from up or it's coming from down. All right, so I think we would, okay, Isaiah, Issa, your hand is up.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you. My question is on problem solving skill.
Okay.
I want to know in the instances of instant problem solving approach as a product manager, what if the issue or the problem you want to solve can, if not solve instantly, can lead to financial loss or product image damage as well. So what do you advise in that case? Look at listen to this scenario. If you have a product out there that has been reported by a user that is AYZ product is malfunctioning, and instantly you know it will lead to financial loss, and you have an idea of what to do instantly before meeting other members of the team to actually research and come out with a lasting solution based on empathizing with the user. So what do you do in that? What can you advise in that scenario? Should you go ahead and provide a solution, or you wait until we research and come out?
Like I said earlier, you need to understand. You need to understand the problem you are solving for. Do not jump on every problem with a solution. Understanding is key. Understanding is important. Understanding is profitable in direction. Understanding is something that a lot of people do not take cognizance of. You need to understand. Imagine, it just imagine when you are solving a problem. Someone comes to you. I need a technology that will help me onboard my users faster. And you begin to build a technology. You get onboarding, okay, you get email, put your password, put your first name, last name, do the signing with Google, do that. But you don't understand what the exact problem that they are facing. The problem they are facing could just be that the phone number authentication does not work, right? The problem could also be that they don't get OTP immediately they try to sign up. Understand the problem. When someone tells you that I'm facing this challenge of having a lot of regression in my customer acquisition, understand the why. Why are you doing this? Why are you having this challenge? If you don't understand the problem, you will flop. You will build solutions that are not usable. You will build solutions that do not make any form to the user and to the business. You would have wasted resources. So please understand the problem. If it is going to take you 1 day, 2 days to understand the problem, take your time and understand the problem. Tell them to give you some time to understand this problem. If it is so urgent and super urgent, it should be in the roadmap, right? So understand this problem. Ensure you get it clearly before you are able to begin to solve it for them. If you don't get it clearly and you begin to solve, there is a problem. Then you are building a problem on top of a problem. Please understand the problem clearly. If it's taking you so much time to understand, reach out to a community of people. If you work with a community of people to help you understand the problem. If you work with senior managers, go to senior managers. If you are okay with asking them questions, ask them questions. There is no shame in asking questions, please. You're a product manager. Product managers, I nearly posted this on my LinkedIn the other day. Product managers know nothing. I would say it anywhere, anytime, any day. We know nothing. We come into an industry and we learn, right? Especially for people that have worked in several industries, right? You come into the industry and you learn how things work there. I said this earlier on, product management is the same everywhere, same framework, but when you get to work in a different industry, you now understand the strategies you have to deploy to get successes for your product. So it is just the same everywhere. Understand the problem, ask questions, sit with business teams, understand their heartbeat, understand the customer needs. Once you're able to do this, understand, ask questions, ask a lot of whys. Once you're able to understand all these things, the solution will be right in front of you. You won't need to struggle to do a whole lot. You now just need to research a little more and get things sorted out. So understanding is very key. Please do not joke with understanding. I hope I answered your question. um um I forgot to ask the question.
Yeah, you
Okay,
did. Thank you.
great. If anyone, shoot, please.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Ndukwe and the entire house.
Good evening.
Okay, so my question is okay, just two bits quickly anyway. The first one is okay, I understand from what we were told that you work with Max, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just want to know what industry is Max. That's the first one. Then secondly, if you would actually teach a group of people, like present a seminar on what product management is, apart from the skills and all of that, using a product, probably one that you people have already in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just go through it? Like what can you just go through like the round trip or whatever of what a product manager does, to get that product into the market without really giving out, any details about, what you do in-house, but just run through it. Okay, this is from the conception to, the requirement, like you just mentioned now, and all of that. Just can you just give a brief? Because I think for me that will actually just sit, you know, down with me than yes, I understand all these skills, we can always get them and all of that, but beyond this I just want to have that very good grasp, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay, so if I hear you clearly, you're asking me to walk you through how product management, how I develop my products from scratch to
Exactly,
finish,
thank you.
right?
Yes, a walkthrough. Yes, a walkthrough.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is tough. Okay, it's tough because um it's tough because of the industries I've worked in. There's no product I've worked on that is easy. It's easy to say we are building. What are you building, right? Is it something that the market wants? So the first thing I do is I function as a growth PM and also I was a technical PM. Initially, I started off as technical PM at Max, and then I moved into growth PM. So I've worked with engineering, I've worked with business units, I've optimized the process, right? So in Max, what we do is vehicle subscription. We serve majority of our services go to the bottom of the pyramid, and also to businesses. So we do B2B and B2B2C and B2C. So what we do is we build a technology around what you will call hire purchase, right? We call it a vehicle subscription because it comes with a package. So if you come to us or if our field agents get to you and they are able to convince you to come on board and pick up an asset with and register with us and pick up an asset, the asset could be a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, or four-wheeler. When you pick up the asset, you also begin to subscribe. You go to our onboarding phase, and our onboarding phase has different fragments. Well, it has compliance part, it has the testing part, and all those. You go through that phase, and all through these things are done with the aid of technology. So our tests are done through the aid of technology. Our compliance done through the aid of technology. Our conversion is done through the aid of technology. Everything is optimized and automated. You get to the part where get the assets and begin to subscribe on a daily basis. So at the point of subscription, we give you a total package. Total package comes with driver's license, comes with HMO, comes with maintenance, comes with a whole lot, right? As a total package, and it also comes with loans, right? When where our champions, we call them champions, do not have financial assets to solve some particular needs, they come to us and we lend them money. So it is an end to end. It is a big cycle, right? Do we have customer facing products? Yes, we have. It is we started our assets, our vehicle subscription product as at 3 years, 4 years ago, and we're still on our testing phase, right? So right now we are launching a product that will be customer facing. And because we're also dealing with the bottom of the pyramid, we do not have a lot of mobile apps. We deal more with few sales agents that help us aggregate the top of funnel. Off taking it off Max, talking about how we build a product. We start by understanding the business process, which is where the product team also functions optimally. We understand the business process and ensure that this business process is translated accordingly into technology, because the business process has a lot of friction, is prone to fraud, is prone to mistakes, prone to error, and all those things. So we have to fine tune the process and define the process. In product, you also have process definition as part of it, right? We then begin to speak with the business unit, understand how they move from one stage to another, understand the pain points of the users, and after that, we now move forward to building out an MVP. The MVP is going to sit within the business for them to carry out their day-to-day activities. After that is launched, we now go back to reiterate. What did we not get in the first launch? What did we get in the first launch? Is it working? Is it not working? We now sit back with the product team and reiterate, rethink that process again, keep fine-tuning it to ensure we are getting the right thing, to ensure we are getting the right thing. You never get it all right at once. Just ensure you keep getting it, and that way you build a long-lasting product that your users will be comfortable using and your users will trust. If any, I don't know if I answered your question in a nutshell. If I go deeper, we might not end the session.
All right, thank you. Let me not push. Thank you.
All right, great.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for that one, Ifeanyiwa. Thank you very much as well. Ndukwe. Is Ndukwe still here? I'm not seeing his face again.
Yes,
Okay.
I am here.
Okay. So before we move on, I'd like us, everyone on this call now, I'd like us to go to our social media. Let us, especially for those who have asked questions, right? Let's just share the things that we have learned so far, and let's tag Innova Lab and Ndukwe Ubukwe. You can tag Ndukwe on LinkedIn, right? And you can tag Innova Lab on LinkedIn at Innova Lab, on Twitter at Innova Lab, and on Instagram at Innova Lab NG, right? And you can also tag Ndukwe on LinkedIn at Ndukwe Ibukwe. I don't know, Ndukwe, if you'd like to share your Twitter or Instagram handle so that we can as well tag you.
Oh, I'm not on Instagram and I'm not on Twitter.
Okay, I searched actually. Let me know. I just don't want to be false.
Okay.
I
Okay.
searched,
I'm just on LinkedIn.
yeah, so you can just tag Ndukwe on LinkedIn. Just share what you've learned, and also tag Innova Lab along. Thank you very much. Ndukwe, over to you.
All right, great. Someone else was raising hand. Please permit me to finish the fifth one before I get to you. That's Akinola. All right. So the fifth one is time management skill. Time management for product managers is a tug of war. It's something that we all do not know how to manage. Every product manager does not know how to manage time. Those of them that know how to manage time are not present at every point in time, right? So I'm evolving. I'm trying to understand time management better, and I know that is a challenge for every other person. I keep using myself as an instance because I am human, and I am nowhere close to perfect. Nowhere close to perfect. So I will tell you as it is. I don't know how to effectively manage my time, and I am still learning how to manage my time. And whose time am I managing? Everybody's time. I am managing everybody's time, including. So don't think as a product manager you're managing only your time. No, you're managing everybody's time, including yours. And if you don't manage your time well, how can you manage every other person's time well? You do not need to be in every meeting. You do not need to be in every meeting. Trust me, I'll say it again and say it everywhere. As a product manager, I have tasted and I've seen that I don't need to be in every meeting. Some meetings that I put on my calendar, I decline it respectfully. You have to decline respectfully. I decline respectfully and I move on to another thing. And I tell them why I'm declining. If you invite me for a call that does not concern me, I will direct it to the person that it concerns. I have other things to do with the precious time that God has given us and the time that work permits us to do. So you need to manage everybody. Every meeting that you must attend must have an agenda. And if those meetings do not concern you, please remove yourself from those meetings because you do not need to be in every meeting. I have been in every meeting and it did not profit me. I've been in less meetings and it is profiting me. So please, please, and please, you do not need to be in every meeting. When your CEO is telling you need to be in this meeting, go for that meeting, right? Listen in, find out why he needs you to be there, and then you move on. When the business team is dragging into a meeting, please, if you don't need to be in that meeting, ask them the agenda. If you don't need to be in that meeting, please decline and share your thoughts via mail to them. You do not need to be in every meeting because your time is of very utmost importance. How else do you manage your time? By planning. Plan your sprints, plan your roadmap, plan your requirement gathering sessions, plan your check-ins, plan your brainstorming sessions, plan everything. Plan your meetings with business units, plan the agenda of those meetings, plan everything. Plan your change management, plan everything. There is nothing that you would do as a product manager without planning. Do I plan effectively? No, I don't. Am I getting better at planning? Yes, I am. So you need to plan every time and document your plans. You need to document your plans. In product management, they say working software over documentation. I agree. However, there are some things that you need to document that are very essential because tomorrow your stakeholders will ask you, have you done this? You say yes. What are the outcomes of this? You now begin to talk gibberish. So please, I beg you, plan and document your plans. When you hit those milestones, tick them off on that plan. Share the plan with everyone that's supposed to see the plan so that tomorrow, even when you're not there and they say this thing has been done, they can refer back to that document and actually see that it has been sorted out. The next part is you must not be in all committees. I already said that. In all meetings, you don't need to be there. You don't need to be in all committees. You are not a committee leader. You are not a cheerleader. You are not in a political party. You are working for an organization that requires an outcome and that requires a result. So please, please, please make good use of your time. Because if I show you my calendar on a normal day, we will scream, right? And I've made conscious effort not to leave my calendars that way. I'm not proud to have my calendar in a mess. However, I'm making conscious efforts to plan my calendar, to plan my life, to plan my work. And I have a personal life, I have a work life, and I have other lives to live, right? So plan your life. Your life does not revolve around product. Your life does not begin and start with product. You may start your day with product, but end it memorable with the people you love, with the things you love to do, and all that. Please, please, I beg, you don't need to be in all committees. Avoid time waster conversations. Whatever conversation that is going to waste your time as a product manager, highlight it and move forward. Jump and pass. You really do not need those conversations in your life. Please and please do not join the time waster conversations. Prioritize your task. I don't know the framework some of us use to prioritize tasks, but for me and for us at Max, we use the North Star approach. We use the North Star approach, we use the RISE approach. Find the framework that works better for you as an organization, prioritize your tasks and move forward on that. It will also help you to draft your OKRs, get your roadmap ready, because those are the things that will also give the entire outcome of the it will break the entire picture that the company has into fragments, and for you to sort them out in those ways. The last point I have here on time management skill is learning how to say no. This learning how to say no is something that I don't know how to do. Because I'm a person, because I have built social infrastructure, like I said earlier on. I don't know how to say no. I know someone asked this question whether it will make you look weak. No, it wouldn't make you look weak. I do not know how to say no at everything, because I then tend to begin to delve into them and begin to build them out. But trust me, I am learning how to say no to my stakeholders, senior management, when they say, "Look, we need to get this out. It's also and so time." I am learning how to say no respectfully. I know I've said no to a couple of times to my one of the chiefs in my company. I've told him, no, we're not doing this. It is not time for us to do this. Please allow us to work and get this done. We've had to fight, not physical fight, disagree and agree on something. But one thing you should learn how to do is to say no, give reasons why you're saying no, back it up with data, back it up with reasonable outcomes, back it up with resources that you have available, back it up with everything you have in you, especially if you're sure that if you go into that project, you might not come as successful. So learn how to say no respectfully. I keep saying, because they're the people that pay your salary before we say no, and then they will sack us. So please learn how to say no. All right. So Titi Lope can go ahead to ask your question.
All right. Before Titilope will ask a
Okay.
question, thank you very much, Ndukwe. I believe this is the end of your.
Yes. Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said at the end of your slide, right?
Yes. 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 It is. This is the fifth
Okay,
one.
awesome. Okay. I think the last part where you said learn to say no, right? I think it was just this afternoon or so we had a post up on Instagram about how to effectively say no as
Mm-hmm.
a product. So you guys can go to our Instagram at
Is it that?
InnovaLabNG and check up that post, right? And who's this fool? Another thing, sorry, a call is just like somebody's just trying to call me and all of that. So also, please, we talked about time management, and we spent about, I think, about 2 hours, okay, and half 44 minutes. So yes, if we'll be taking this hands up, let's shorten our questions so that we'll just round up by 8 p.m. or before then. Thank you all very much. You guys can go on with your question. I think Titi Lope, right?
Yeah, Titi Lope.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Thank you so much for all the knowledge. So, quick one. I just want to ask that, okay, you said something about certification. So, I want to ask that, okay, where can we get certification? Like, what platform can we work with if we want to get exam certification and all? And as a product manager, like, newly starts like jobs and all, like, do you have any links or anything you can job for us? And the third one, it's kind of broad, but it might skip it. But I want to ask that what's the difference? What's the link between a BRD, a business requirement document, and a product requirement document to the designers? Because I had an issue with a one that I was managing, and we had a kind of scratch between the products and the business thing. So thank you.
Okay. Starting with from your first question, where you can go learn products. I think InnovaLab would do justice to that. Please connect with Blessing. She'll walk you through that on the or whatnot, how to navigate through that. She'll walk you through and help you succeed in that area, please reach out to her. The second question was around um, um, please remind me to look at that. You asked three questions.
Jobs, links for
Yeah,
jobs.
yeah,
Okay.
links for jobs. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, some people reach out to me when they want to hire, and I help them conduct interviews. I also help them source for product manager. So what I may need to do is Blessing. I don't know. Is there a platform that InnovaLab has that we can be posting out jobs like that when they get across to me? I know someone reached out to me, was it yesterday or so, seeking to hire some product manager. So if there
Okay.
are if there are
Yeah.
avenues where we can post those jobs, please connect me today and connect everyone here so
All
we
right.
can also post our jobs there.
All right. No problem. Then we'll connect. I'll definitely message you so we can just get to know how to go about that. Thank you very much.
All right, great. The third question is BRD and PRD. BRD is more like a business case document where you get to understand what the outcome, the business is trying to achieve by building that particular product, right? It also comprises of who the users are. Excuse me. Comprises of who the users are, the faces, the kind of problem they are facing, the problem statement, and all those, right? It comprises of a whole lot that has to do with the business, the process for that business, the outcomes, the business units that are involved. It cuts across every person. It is a business case, understanding the business, understanding the problem, and how to go about building a solution that would work around that business. However, PRD speaks about the products that you are building. So it is a requirement document that is coming from the business or the users, highlighting the requirements that would help us solve a particular problem that we have highlighted in the business case. So if we're not able to highlight what the business is, what the outcome of the business and the process should be, we'll not be able to build a substantial PRD. The PRD is for the engineers to look at the requirements, user stories, acceptance criteria. It's all comprised in a PRD. It tells you the metric we are monitoring, who the users are, the technology we are building, sometimes the stack, the people that are building the technology, the user flow diagram, the high fidelity mockup, and all those. So they are all embedded in the PRD because that is what the engineering team will work with when you transfer it to Jira. So those two documents are different, right? Your designer may need the BRD to be able to understand what he's designing. That is if he didn't join you for the meeting in the requirement gathering. So you need to give him some form of documentation to work with. The PRD also, he will make use of them to fine-tune the designs, and once it is done, you share it back to the business for sign-off, or you send it back to the users for testing, user test, and after that, you can now move forward to the engineers, so they will build and develop for you, so you can go ahead to deploy and ensure that everybody is using it. I hope that answers your questions.
Thank you very much, sir.
All
Thank
right,
you.
great, 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 great. I see there are more hands that are up. Please, if your hand is up, go ahead and ask question. Suleiman, go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, of recent, I completed a course on entry level for a product manager role, and ever since I've been applying for jobs and stuff. So there's this one thing that I've been finding difficult. That is, how do I use the word pimp now, or what's the right word? um, like my CV or a portfolio, what does a manager's CV look like? And also, what what does the product manager portfolio look like? Is it when you are asked to submit your portfolio, you send in PDF format of projects you executed, or as a designer, you have already made websites where people can go and see your work or the works that you've done? That's the question, please. And if there are any ways we can get maybe a blueprint or a template as to how to design or come up with CVs or portfolio for a product management manager, that would be cool. Thank you.
Okay. As regards CV for product managers, there is no standard way of writing it. There is no most preferred way of writing it. The CVs are just the same for every other person. I think mine is the most basic because I like to keep it simple. Really, what's the point of beauty putting in plenty things within my CV when I know the key things that I need to put. The key things are if you're working in Andela, what did you do in Andela? You managed this product, that product, that product. Okay, what was the outcome within those products that you managed? You tell us the metrics you were looking out for, and you also tell us what you did to drive growth. If it's coach, we are driving it, but if you're a technical PM, what did you do? How many metrics were you looking out for? Technical PMs look out for metrics. What else? A whole lot of things for your CV. Especially, don't just go about putting a whole ton of certifications. Do you need them there? Yes, you need them there, but they are not the things that will land you to a job. I may look for a template and share with Blessing. So please reach out to her via the channel that she has created for everyone, or you can follow me on LinkedIn and send me a message. I would look out for the template and share with you. As regards to the portfolio part, I
There's
have
even add a we had one product session. In fact, it was like two product session where we talked about how a product manager's CV should look like and all of that. I believe
oh
that's going
great,
to add to whatever Ndukwe is going to be giving to us. So yes,
great.
once I get the materials Ndukwe will be sending across, I'm also going to send the link for everyone to just go over the recording again so that you can have in-depth understanding on how your CV should look like. So yes, Ndukwe, you can just continue.
All right, great. On the portfolio part, Suleiman, you need to get your portfolio. Okay, do I have a portfolio? The answer is no, I don't. I don't have any place I've put together all the products I've worked on because some of them I don't even have direct link to them anymore. Some of them were for third-party customers. I was in consulting for quite some time, so I was building products for different people, for different industries. So I don't even sometimes I launch products and because it's one-off, I just let it go like that. I don't even have time to begin to pile up portfolio. But if I calm down and go through all the things that I've worked on, I'll be able to pull up a portfolio. However, do you need portfolio as a product manager before you land the job? I am not sure. You'll be asked in an interview what product you've been worked on. Go ahead and talk about the product you worked on. If you have instances, if you are still live, go ahead and quote them. I still quote the EdTech product I worked on a few years ago. I still quote some of the big fours that I worked on a few years ago. I still quote on for my current job. Most of the products I'm building are internal facing. They are not much of customer facing. So it is not something I can share with everybody, right? So that does not mean I'm less of a product manager. That does not mean I don't have the experience I have. It just means that you need to be more confident when answering some questions during an interview and also relating your real life experience to everyone that cares to listen. That way, you would be able to drive respect and command respect to within whatever space you find yourself, whether interview or for you to talk to people, a group of people. I hope that answers you, Suleiman.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, your hand is still up. Do you want to ask a question?
If anyone, your hand is still up, do you want to ask a question? If no, you can just drop your hand. All right.
Sorry, it was the old and thank you.
All
Oh,
right. So
okay. Okay.
that the old hand.
Yeah.
Thank you
Okay.
very, very much. Ndukwe, it's been a swell time. It's been an insightful session. I learned a lot from it, and I believe every other person learns as well. Right. I don't know if there will be other questions. If you have other questions for Ndukwe, we will just take the questions right now, and um okay, in the absence of no question, I believe Ndukwe has said so. He has said a whole lot of things today, and I just want you guys to go to your socials on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Just write what you've learned or say what you've learned. Tag in Ndukwe, and you also tag Innovalab on LinkedIn and Twitter, and Innovalab NG on Instagram. Right. Thank
Okay.
you very much.
I think Kelvin left a message here. Kelvin, please sorry, it skipped my mind. Said, is time a determining factor as a metric in success of a project during a retrospective? See a product MVP meant to be completed by March, but was launched in June. Yes, it is a determinant factor. Time to market is very essential for you as a product manager, because you have competitors every time, and ensure that you know the right time to launch your product. And if you have set 3 months to launch your MVP, please stick to the 3 months. If your engineering team is not giving you joy, I made a post the other day on LinkedIn, and I said product managers are not engineering managers. Hold your engineering manager accountable. Hold your head of engineering accountable. Hold anybody that is directly responsible for the engineering team accountable. You shouldn't be managing engineers. It is not your duty to manage engineers. Anybody that is making you manage engineers as a product manager is setting you up to fail. Please, please, and please, you don't write code. You don't do any form of technical writing. So ensure that your engineers are held accountable. Ensure that the person in charge of them is holding them accountable. You do not need to be in their sessions. You have, like I said, you have plenty things to do. So you need to put time together for yourself and get the job done. Because if you don't get the job done, it still falls back at you. Would you need to motivate your engineers to get the job done? Oh, yes, you will need to, because they are humans too. I have a good rapport with all my engineers. They get to call me at any point in time to pay, how can I have a time with you? Let's look at this story together. Let's do this. I don't understand this. And it's fine. Help them out, sort out the stories. But you're not that they are not. I told you, you're not leading anybody. Engineers are do not they don't report to you. You don't have control over them. So do not expect them to report to you at any point in time. You just ask for feedback for the product they are building, and they are servicing you as a customer. So ask for feedback for the product you're building, and from there you move forward. Please do not let timing is of essence to go to market, but do not manage engineers because you're trying to meet your timeline. It is not your duty to manage engineers. Ensure that you do not cross your boundary. Thank you, Kelvin. I hope I answered your question.
All right. I hope Ndukwe has answered your question, Kelvin. All right. All right. Thank you very much, Kelvin. I mean, I said Kelvin Ndukwe. Thank you so much. It's like I said, it's been amazing. It's 8 o'clock already. So, yes, thank you very much. Soft skills you need to thrive as a product manager. Wow. Um, Innova Labs is a product management institute once again, and we provide in-depth training and mentorship to aspiring product managers with structured learning approach and a detailed syllabus, right? And our students are groomed with the knowledge, skills, and tools, of course, to build, manage, and innovate products that will deliver increasing value to users while also driving, business value for organizations. And our mission is to empower product talent for today, tomorrow, and the future. Thank you very much, Ndukwe. It's been an amazing time with you. We appreciate you. And yeah, I bring greetings from the whole of Enovalab team. Everyone's saying, oh, Ndukwe is dishing out Rema. It's dishing out to Rema and all of that. So yeah, thank you very much. I want all of us to what's it called now? Take a picture. Some people will run away now. Some people will run away now. All put on our cameras and take a picture while we say cheese and we say bye. Right. So I'm giving us one to put on our cameras. Let me wear my wig.
Please wear your wig, so everybody wear your wig. Oh my god.
My room is dark.
Oh, Basi, okay.
One.
People's room are dark, bless it.
People can find the skills. Oh yeah, let's
Hi, hi,
camera.
Olabanji. Yeah, I'm seeing good faces. Chimere, Daniel, Isa. I'm seeing good faces, great, great faces. Good to meet everyone here. Good to meet everyone. Blessing, please take pictures before our internet begins to fail us. Hi, Titilope. Hi, Tunde. Hi, everyone. Super, super happy to be amongst everyone. Really, really great.
Yeah.
Blessing, we can't see your face.
The
You
blessing
are
is still very weak, you know.
Good
evening, Banji. Good evening, Banji.
I'm coming.
Blessing, your real face.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you all
Great.
for the session today. I enjoyed it, and I hope everyone else enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, on this note, I'll say peace out. Delivery man is calling me. Hey.
All right, guys.
All right,
All right,
guys.
good night,
Have a good
everyone.
evening. Bye.